Yeah, but don't call me.
Tusiondoke uwanjani tafadhali, tusiondoke kwaya, tuendelee na huo wimbo. Tuendelee na huo wimbo, na nitaomba hata waziri wetu wanapofika aje nimuonyeshe penye tunakaa. Kwaya tafadhali, waziri nifuate tafadhali, waziri njoo. Waziri kuja tafadhali. Kwaya tuendelee, kwaya tuendelee. Wapi makofi ya principal guest wetu, waziri wetu Professor Kobia. Karibu waziri. Wapi makofi ya waziri wetu wanaporudi kwenye jukwaa. Asante sana Professor Margaret Kobia, mgeni wetu wa siku ya leo. Thank you choir. Thank you, karibu Madam Waziri. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause to our choir and our chief guest. Thank you so much. I invite once again Dr. Mary Muyandi, kindly, Commissioner, to bring on board the next speaker. Commissioner, karibu.
Thank you. We welcome our CS, Professor Margaret Kobia, to this meeting. As we waited for you, we had done a few things, but you're not late. This is absolutely the right time. I had already asked Karen to speak, but for now, I want to welcome Yawa Hassan Kwo to the podium to speak to where we are, to speak to why we must collaborate and work together to bring our young men and women into the public service with positive values, with ethical attitude, and that yearning to serve Kenyans, to give public service the service it needs now and going to the future. Like I said, this country has a great future, has a great promise, and this promise will be actualized if we give the best and the right skills and attitude to our young leaders so that they can pilot this country to where we want it to be. And for this, I want to welcome Yawa to take the podium and give a brief speech. My sister Yawa Hassan Kwo, karibu.
Good morning. Such a pleasure to be here. And before I begin, I would like to honor the memory of the late PSC chairman, Stephen Kirogo. Although he's not here with us today, his enthusiasm and commitment really set us on the path to what we're witnessing this morning. Instead of a moment of silence, could you join me in giving him a moment of applause? I want to also express my deep gratitude to our valued partners and honorable guests that are joining us here today, including those from the diplomatic community and representatives from the various civil service organizations. I bring you greetings from the Global Board of Directors of Emerging Public Leaders, and on their behalf, I want to thank the Public Service Commission, and specifically the Vice Chairperson, Charity Kasutu, Dr. Simon Rotich, the CEO, Dr. Mary Mwandi, and Dr. Sylvester Obongo, with whom we've worked the closest over the past 2 years. It's an honor to also be joined by additional government leaders, including our chief guest for today, Professor Margaret Kobia, the Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Public Service, Gender Affairs and Special Programs. Also an honor to share the stage with Mr. Charles Sunkuli, the Principal Secretary of and I would like to express my gratitude to everyone standing on existing protocols, and I look forward to our continued partnership with the Public Services Commission as we launch this brand new initiative. Additionally, I would like to thank all of our partners at Emerging Leaders Foundation, including my good friend Karen Wakoli. Your friendship and partnership has been so meaningful, and I thank God for the opportunity to see it birth something special today. I also want to thank our partners from the Chandler Institute of Governance, with whom we've been working closely to develop the curriculum for this special program. And now I'd also like to take a moment to introduce to you members of our steering committee. The steering committee for the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship of Kenya comprises of leaders from various walks of life, and their voices, their support, and their partnership has played a big role in what we are all witnessing here today. May I ask Mr. Emmanuel Lubembe to stand. Mr. Lubembe, if you could help me appreciate Mr. Lubembe, is chair of our steering committee. He is a former director of public service transformation and has been leading the private sector practice at Deloitte. We also have Madam Sharon. Sharmi, if you could stand. Sharmi is a member of the Emerging Public Directors, and she serves on the steering committee as well. In her work, she serves as the Chief Impact Officer at the Harambee Youth Employment Accelerator. I believe we have other members of our committee that are here, and I want to acknowledge them. Dr. Alex Awiti, the Vice Provost of Aga Khan University, who I don't see here in the room, but whose partnership we are grateful for. Amandla Obunka, an associate partner at McKinsey & Company, is also a member of our committee. Madam Marilyn Kamuru, an expert in governance, legal, and gender, is a member of the committee. Madam Rose Washuka, if you could stand and receive some acknowledgement. We are so thankful for you. Madam Rose is Chief of Staff to the Chief Justice of Kenya. Mr. Kon Omori is Governance Lead at the UK Department for International Development. Mr. Ken Injiru is a community organizer and a change expert. And Mr. Laban Ansario, a celebrated journalist here in Kenya. We are so thankful for all of them for the gift of their service to this partnership. I also want to acknowledge a member of the Board of Directors for Emerging Leaders Foundation, Madam Patience Nyange. If she's here, could we please acknowledge Madam Patience? Thank you so much, Madam. It's been a joy collaborating with you and your leadership over the past 2 years. And lastly, I want to acknowledge and thank again personally Dr. Sylvester Obongo, the Director of Performance. Thank you. And lastly, I want to acknowledge Dr. Sylvester Obongo, the Director of Performance Management and Service Delivery Transformation at the Public Services Commission. He also represents the PSE on the steering committee. So can you please join me in giving a round of applause for all of them again? Thank you so much for your engagement. It has been an incredible journey to get to this moment. And I'm filled with lots of joy and excitement as we officially launch the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship of Kenya. Not only does this moment represent 2 years of hard work, developing the curriculum, collaborating with partners, and confirming the various details, but it's also years of work that Emerging Public Leaders, the organization that I have the honor of leading, has spent building this model across the continent. Just last month, in a room similar to this, I joined 16 young civil servants from Emerging Public Leaders in Ghana as they became the second cohort to graduate from the Public Service Fellowship Program in Ghana. In the 2 years in public service, these incredible young leaders have made a tangible impact in the departments that they work in. They implemented new technologies, they helped to digitize processes that had previously relied on paper files, they increased speed, transparency, and effectiveness. They also drafted reports for the United Nations, presented budgets to Parliament, and increased the access to healthcare workers in rural communities. All of this occurred against the backdrop of COVID-19, which impacted everyone's day-to-day life, no matter where in the world we were. Many of our fellows were deemed essential staff, volunteering to contact trace, negotiating contracts with hotels and food vendors for quarantine, and supporting the day-to-day operations of Ghanaian government officials in the midst of this horrible crisis. The experience of our sister organization, the President's Young Professionals Program in Liberia during the Ebola crisis, had already taught us how a valuable and dedicated and connected group of young civil servants can be useful during moments of crisis. In fact, several of the PYPs who had completed their fellowship during the Ebola outbreak are now in leadership positions during the current pandemic, including coordinating the medical response at the primary hospitals. They're serving COVID-19 patients from around the country and helping to disseminate accurate and clear public health guidance. With the addition of public service fellows from Kenya, young civil servants from across Africa will be better able to respond to the crisis that face their countries, the continent, and the entire globe as they tap into this growing Pan-African network of peers committed to excellence and who act as catalysts to drive systemic change in Africa's public sector. Fellows and alumni will learn from each other, and hopefully they'll collaborate on the most pressing issues of our time, from ending poverty to addressing climate change. In Kenya, the 50 young civil servants that will be selected to participate in the Public Service Fellowship will, like their peers in Liberia and Ghana, receive training in public sector specific leadership development, ethics cultivation, and citizen-centered government delivery. We know the ongoing responsive trainings, the hands-on mentorship, the community service engagements, and the continuous career development support will give these future fellows the tools that they need to transform themselves into that next generation of government leaders that Kenya needs. At Emerging Public Leaders, we deeply believe in investing in young people and the civil service. Young people are committed to excellence and bettering the world, proving that there are competent and ethical people that are willing to do what is right. Young leaders also bring new ideas and fresh perspectives to critical issues. Our work, along with that of our partner here in Kenya, the Emerging Leaders Foundation, and this partnership with the Public Services Commission, is proof that Africa has talented, committed, and ethical young people who are committed to contributing their part to improving society. The foundation of all of our work at Emerging Public Leaders is a firm belief that investing in government matters, and that a professional, energized, and committed civil or public service is a necessary condition for governance and economic development. Therefore, we pride ourselves in providing pathways for high-achieving young people to enter into public service and provide them the tools that will help them to thrive in their public service careers. We are working to fill the continent's future leadership pipeline with a cadre of professionals who are dedicated and capable of establishing and maintaining ethical standards and supporting regulations and policies that will spur a thriving business environment to attract investment and encourage economic growth. We are so honored to be here with all of you today as we celebrate the next step in building that important pipeline. May God bless this effort, and may the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship of Kenya become an enduring effort. Asante sana.
Thank you. Another round of applause for our guest, Madam Yawa Hansen, for the confirmation of partnership and assurance that our youths have a chance in this partnership. So, Madam Chief Guest, we are privileged to have you. We thank you sincerely for honoring our invitation to grace the occasion. Before I invite the next guest, I would like to acknowledge Madam Mary Kimonye, the PS Minister of State for Public Service, who is here with us. Thank you very much. So thank you very much, all the speakers who have already made their remarks. And now it's my pleasure to invite one of our critical stakeholders in the government, Mr. Charles Nguli, the PS Youth Affairs, to make his remarks. Welcome.
Our chief guest, the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Public Service, Gender, Citizens Affairs and Special Programs, Professor Margaret Kopia, the Chairperson of the Public Service Commission, the CEO of Public Service Commission, and fellow colleagues, commissioners, the Executive Director of Emerging Leaders Foundation, Karen Wakoli. I don't know whether I've seen my colleague P.S. Kimonye, maybe she's somewhere. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First of all, let me say that this is a major step by the Public Service Commission towards nurturing leaders in the public sector. This is an area that has been has been lacking behind in the fulfillment of the major undertakings by the Public Service Commission. I want to say again, my name is Charles Sonkuli, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Youth Affairs, and this particular subject is key to our mandate. It gives me great pleasure to be here today on this auspicious occasion of the launching of the Public Service Emerging Leadership Fellowship Program. This is indeed a transformative program designed to empower youth with motivational mindset and skills needed to flourish in the workplace and the community. It leverages on the commitment of public and economic reforms as articulated in the Kenya Vision 2030. The program complements the existing government programs to empower the next generation of civil service profession. The program objectives to catalyze the next generation of public sector leaders capable of providing solutions to the current challenges. Second is to instill critical knowledge and values and principles of public service to improve service delivery, ethical and transparent management of government resources. Third, points to believe of creating exceptional, ethical, energetic, committed, indigenous young talent through coaching and mentorship. Mindset change through youth-centric transformative networks. The focus, of course, of instilling key skills and behavior whose ripple effect lasts a lifetime. A bright African youth will be accorded the necessary tools and experiences geared towards effective civil service leadership. The ripple effect, of course, is targeted on the pool of talented professionals who will immensely benefit by the consistency of the youth, which is a key mandate of the ministry. Ladies and gentlemen, the youth will greatly benefit from the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship 2-year professional development program for high-achieving young leaders. Critical key components that will be harnessed include meritocratic and transparent recruitment, continuous responsive learning, mentorship and professional development support, community service project, travel opportunities, performance management, alumni engagement and career development support. This program will benchmark on the best practices noted in Liberia and Ghana, where over 200 fellows and alumni have benefited in total over 25 government ministries, departments, and agencies, enhancing the capacity of these public sector institutions. This public sector institution, EPL fellows and alumni, exemplifies the values of their work. EPL projects a Pan-African network of over 500 young government officials across 6 countries, Kenya being included by 2023. To the youth, I am persuaded that the Public Service Emerging Leadership Fellowship will serve as a premier leadership development program for the emergence of the new generation of well-trained and ethical leaders to join the public service. It will also target high-performing Kenya entry-level public servants who have been serving the government of Kenya for up to 1 year. And also be cognizant that the relevance and success of the program will be dependent on the ability to meet identified needs in the public service that are aligned to the goals of this program. We'll also have to develop young leaders who will provide innovative solutions to pressing government challenges and are well equipped to respond effectively to complex national problems. It will also serve as a critical entry point for a pathway that will prepare future public service leaders to improve government service delivery and create sustainable social impact. It will also create in-depth awareness of public sector's ethos, systems, policies, and methods unique to the Kenyan environment for the successful implementation and attainment of national development goals. It will also re-emphasize the traditional ethos, practices, and culture of public sector principles to restore the strong but undying practices of an effective public sector. It will also include ethical competencies in public servants at the inception of their careers for the performance of public duties with integrity, transparency, and diligence. It will erase negative perception of African public sector, always accused of corruption, ineptitude, and mediocrity. It is projected that the right values and talents will grow like the mustard seed and be cascaded to the peers and subordinates. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I want to urge the beneficiaries of this program to be the hummingbird of good values, desirable or worthwhile motives behind purposeful action. May the beneficiaries of this program seek to maintain positive attitude, adaptability, honesty, and integrity, and be motivated to grow and learn. Waziri, once again, I wish to thank you for officiating this function. And as a ministry, State Department for Youth Affairs, we are very excited to be in this convention. And distinguished participants, thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Bwana Piers. And Public Service Commission, Madam Charity Kisotu, will make her remarks and thereafter invite our chief guests. Could we please welcome her with an applause? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, CEO, and good morning, everyone. Good morning. Looks like our energy levels are going down. Please, the program is going to be very short. The chief guest, Professor Margaret Kobia, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Public Service, Gender, Senior Citizen Affairs, and Special Programs, Principal Secretaries present here, fellow PSC commissioners, CEOs of state corporations that are present here, Ms. Karen Wakoli, Executive Director, Emerging Leaders Foundation, Ms. Yawa Hansen Kur, Executive Director, Emerging Public Leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning again. Let me take this opportunity to welcome all of you and thank you, Madam CS, and all invited guests for honoring our invitation in this occasion of signing of the Memorandum of Understanding and official launch of this milestone program, the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program. I particularly extend a special appreciation to our chief guest, Professor Margaret Kobia, for accepting our invitation at a fairly short notice. And this goes to demonstrate her commitment and passion for public service. We salute you, Madam CS. I'm also grateful to our partners, Emerging Public Leaders and Emerging Leaders Foundation, for the huge support they have given to this program, both in terms of technical and financial. May I also recognize the Parliamentary Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security, which has supported the Commission in many ways, including allocating resources to our ongoing flagship public service internship program, without which the program would not have been realized, and we look forward to a new engagement, especially now as we roll out this new and exciting Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program. Indeed, Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program is a flagship program in the Commission's Public Service Transformation Agenda. It is a logical sequence to our ongoing Public Service Internship Program, popularly known as PSIP, which is currently in its third year with over 5,600 young university graduates having successfully completed 12 months of internship since its inception in 2019. Another 3,000 interns are currently on the program this year, and shortly we will be onboarding another 3,000. Whereas PSIP targets young university graduates who have not joined the service, the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program complements the internship program by targeting freshly recruited graduates who are just beginning their public service careers. As a commission charged with development of human resources in the public service under Article 234 of the Constitution, we believe that leaders do not assume leadership positions by accident. They are nurtured and developed. Good leaders are good because they have been developed to be better people and to provide leadership. To develop as a leader is a conscious act that entails a mindset shift, learning capability, honesty to self, interactivity, understanding of the conceptual relation between cause and effect, and the skills to conceive emerging issues from a bird's eye view perspective. We are doing all this not for ourselves, but for the future of this country. Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program, therefore, supports the Commission's approach to public service transformation, which places human capital development at the center. Ladies and gentlemen, as you have noticed in the event program that has been availed to you, the rallying theme and tagline of this program is nurturing value-driven leaders. This theme was deliberately chosen to focus the program towards the goal of raising a new generation of young public servants imbued and teeming with high integrity, ethical and moral standards. These standards, among others, are the subject of the national values and principles of governance in Article 10 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and also the Public Service Commission Act of 2017. The rationale for this program can be seen against the backdrop of current and historical factors that have negatively impacted service delivery and indeed the reputation of the public service, hence the need for a new generation of public servants that will help to restore the good old reputation and meaning of public service. Our late chairman, Stephen Kirogo, used to say, bringing back the public in the public service and a citizen-centric public service. And generally speaking, ladies and gentlemen, a largely pervasive perception that the African public sector is corrupt and fraught with nepotism, inefficiencies, among other negative attributes, has been the defining mantra of public service in the continent, and Kenya is no exception. Indeed, the lethargy that has been witnessed in some public institutions in Kenya, together with the numerous media reports of malpractices, unethical conduct, and corruption as unearthed by investigative agencies, may appear to lend credence to this perception. Hence, the urgency for an intervention that can bring forth a new generation of public servants committed to call to serve. The model civil service requires of its officers to demonstrate aversion to unethical practices, instead preferring that public servants embed integrity as a way of life. Indeed, public servants must be seen to enshrine public service ethos, policies, and practices relevant to the Kenyan context if the national development goals as envisaged in the Big Four agenda and Kenya Vision 2030 are to be attained. It is therefore imperative that we now shift gears and focus more on nurturing a new breed of public servants at the onset of their public service careers. I have no doubt that focusing on staff at the entry level presents the perfect opportunity and timing in the journey of instilling foundational ethical competencies such as integrity, transparency, and diligence that can outlive their public service careers. We therefore must move with speed, ladies and gentlemen, to embed a value culture in the minds of young civil servants at the beginning of their careers, in the hope that such officers will progress ethically and be a positive influence and role model to their peers and seniors as well as their future subordinates. Clearly, therefore, the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program that we are launching today is a key plank and pathway that will prepare future public service leaders for the task of improving delivery of public services and creating sustainable social impact in Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, the fellows that we shall be onboarding into the program in the next few weeks will be competitively recruited and based on merit. They are expected to profoundly demonstrate certain values in their leadership journey going forward. They must be self-driven with a positive mindset towards public service. They must also be committed to driving the public sector agenda and be results-oriented. They should be able to take charge of their career growth and development. And finally, they must be ethical and eager to explore innovative solutions to public sector challenges. In this fellowship program, we are re-emphasizing the traditional and time-tested ethos and culture of public service delivery towards restoring practices that can support citizen-centered service delivery and an efficient and effective public service that supports sustainable national development.